Hi there, it's Christy with the Chirp YouTube channel. Today I'm here with the second video in my series for childcare providers and daycare centers. And in this video I'm going to talk about my very first most recommended strategy for helping kids with special needs integrate more easily into your program. If you'd like to find out a little bit more on the pros and the cons of integrating kids with special needs into typical programming, check out this video. That was the first video in this series to sort of wrap your head around some of the positive things about that and some of the things that you may find more challenging. In this video, I'm going to talk about visual supports. And one of the things I reiterated over and over in the previous video in this series was that things that are going to be supportive for kids with special needs are also going to be beneficial for typically developing children. You're not going to find a strategy that you want to use for a child with autism that's going to be harmful or prevent a typically developing child from learning well. That's not how it works. What happens is that the strategies that help our children who have diagnoses or delays are also helpful to all our other students. So it really benefits everyone to incorporate these strategies into your classroom. So let's first talk about giving visual choices. In my field, these tools I'm going to show you are called visual choice boards because they are a way to solidify choices that children have. A lot of times children have trouble making choices because they can't picture what their choices actually are, and they're overwhelmed by the verbal stimuli that are coming in to their ears. Keep in mind that most children are visual learners first. Auditory learning comes later, and most people, visual is still the language that they prefer most. Just as human beings, we prefer to see things over hearing them. We understand things better when we see them over just hearing them. And so that's what we're taking advantage of when we use this tool. I'm going to give you a very simple example. When you're asking a child, what color do you want? So if you have an art activity and you're going to let the kids pick the color of the construction paper that they use, ask what color? And then help them pick a color. If they just kind of hover, that's not picking. You can take their hand and help them pull one off and say, blue. Okay, let's use blue. This technique is something that you will find frequently associated with something called a communication book. And they usually look like this. This one's a little off-putting to me because on my way home from my classroom, somewhere along the way, my please went missing. Usually there's an I want here, a space in the middle here, and then over here is one that says please, and it has the visual of a child using the sign for please. Even though I don't recommend signing for most of these kids, that's how this particular visual program visualizes please. So usually it has those three. Mine just has one, so please imagine the please there. I didn't happen to bring an extra home with me, and I could not find it in my bag, so it's a mystery where it went. Perhaps aliens abducted it. In the inside, I usually have pictures of the toys that are available for that particular time span. And as you can see, right now I have gears and a circus train. So this is a communication book. This is a little binder. I'll put a link for this particular size down below because I think it's the perfect size. And obviously it's not an 8 by 11 size. I think this is an 8 by 5 3/4 or some weird size, I don't quite know. But it's the perfect size. It's easily portable. It's very sturdy. I've had this one for many, many years and it's still going strong. Usually you will find pages like this in a communication book. And then we let the children, so we might flip it to the toy page when it's time for toys. I have a separate page when it's time for snacks. And we might have a separate, right now all my students are able to verbalize what color they want. And so I don't have the colors page in. But it's still great for kids who have difficulty making choices and verbalizing those choices. And if you want a little more information, this video will be hours long if I start explaining the process of how to move from more support to less support when using communication books. So if you'd like to find out more about that, click over here and you'll go to a video that tells you everything that you probably want to know about using communication books. And there are lots of links in the info box on that video that will explain in as much detail as you could want. And there are, in fact, whole weekend or week-long courses that you can take on using these sort of symbols and the picture exchange communication protocol, which is also called PECS, sometimes Picture Exchange Communication System, in this field of special education. And I've done a lot of learning and training with that particular model, and I think it's very helpful. So I'll put those links down below in this video too, so it can be helpful to you. Another example of helping your students make choices using a visual choice board is at music time. These are some of the songs that we sing at music time. And I let particular students choose which song we're going to do next. And I actually have 3 little dots. If we're going to sing 3 little songs, then I let 3 different students pick their song and put it on the Velcro dot. And while we're talking about Velcro, I would like to rave a little bit about the dots. I used to have to cut the Velcro out of the strips, and it will kill your wrist because it's really thick and it's hard to cut through. And so while they may be more expensive, the dots are the way to go. And while we're talking about Velcro, let me say that when I worked in a preschool classroom, the preschool teacher there told me that there is a protocol amongst people who also use this sort of communication supports for students, that you always put the fuzzy side of the Velcro on the thing that moves around. And whatever stays still, you put the pokey side. And what this does is this allows us to have a system so that I'm not trying to stick this fuzzy side on another fuzzy side that's on my counter when we're trying to do music time. Anything that stays still gets the pokey side. Anything that moves around gets the fuzzy side. That should help you avoid some difficulties in your classroom or in your home. So these are our songs. We even have some extra ones on the back. And these are the songs that we make available that we have the visuals for. We have little dance videos for each one of these songs. And so we are ready with whatever the students might want to sing that particular morning. Another example of providing visual support is a choice board for when kids have sensory needs. This again has a backside with even more choices. And these are some choices what to do if a child is getting a little bit overwhelmed. We get out this board and we let her choose what she thinks she needs to do to help herself calm down. Maybe it's jumping on the trampoline. Ideally, these would all be on the same side, but I put the Velcro in the wrong spot. So I'm using the board that I had because not every cardboard board is equally acceptable for this purpose. They have to be extra sturdy and they have to stand up to a lot of abuse. So this cardboard was perfect and I didn't want to waste it. So I am using it in spite of the Velcro in the wrong spots. That leads me to need to use both sides. So if a child is having a difficult time, we whip out this board and we place it in front of her and we say, I need, and we give her a little bit of time to point to something or to pick something. And when a child picks something, we always verbalize it. I need to lift something heavy. I need to use my muscles. Okay, let's go get the box that we use for lifting something heavy. And I have a whole video on this strategy of providing sensory choices, and I will link to that video right over there. Okay, my last example for you today in this little show and tell is, this is in pretty bad shape. it's been abused a bit in my classroom. But this is an example of visual rules. These are very, very helpful for our students who have difficulty remembering what the rules are and managing themselves according to the rules that we've put in place. So I've made them as simple as possible. Quiet mouth, quiet hands, sit in chair, quiet feet. And before every story time, every single one of our students gets to look at this, point, and repeat the rules to the best of his or her ability. And just this last week, I tried hiding it to see if they could still repeat the rules for me. And they could, even my really little one, and he was so proud of himself. They were all very proud of themselves, and it was adorable. I have a video all about using this strategy of rules and visual rules in your classroom, and you can see it right over there. I should let you know that you will see this doesn't say no talking, no hitting, no getting up, no kicking. It phrases everything in the positive, and there is a psychological reason for that, and I will put a link to that video right up there. I hope that was a good tease so that you go see that video, because it's a really good one. It's a really good topic to think about when we're working with children. As you can see, the idea is give children as much visual input of important communication things that you can. Any way that you can think of making something visual is going to be helpful, especially to our kids with developmental delays and disorders, but also to typically developing kids. Everyone needs to hear things in lots of different ways, lots of different examples, lots of different visuals, and using as many different modalities as possible, so as many different senses as you can. There is one more strategy that I couldn't bring home with me because it is in my classroom posted, but it is a visual schedule. And a visual schedule is where I have on the wall in my classroom, starting on the left side of the wall and going towards the right, just as a person would read. It's a pre-reading skill, and the kids don't even know it. We have posted pictures of the things that we will be doing in that day. We have a schedule posted. So it starts off with playtime, and then we clean up, and then we have music time, and then we do some stretching, and then we have story time, and then we have our Bible verse time and our talking to God time, and then we wash our hands, and then we have washing the table time, then we have snack, and then we clean up that, and then we play some more, and then our families come and get us. So it's very organized. Even though the particular activities within those larger categories may be different from day to day, the categories remain the same, and the children know what to expect. That is extremely valuable for managing behavior. Kids need to know what to expect. Not exactly what is going to happen during playtime, but that playtime will happen, and then this other thing will happen. Even in your own life, you will notice that you prefer consistency. As adults, we can pretty much organize our lives in a way that I know I really like to have spaghetti once a week, and I can organize when I have spaghetti because I'm a grown-up. Kids don't have that sort of control over their own lives, and it can lead to a lot of anxiety and frustration. And when they can't even express that, it can lead to even more anxiety and frustration. And so if we can minimize that by providing them consistency with the schedule, with a posted schedule, it's even better for them to manage their own behavior. I have a video about our posted visual schedule, and I will put a link to that right there. I hope this video gave you some jumping off points for ways that you might incorporate visual supports into your classroom and into your program. And I look forward to seeing you soon with the third video in this series for childcare providers. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.